Your background, you come from the real estate industry. You developed a software called Top Producer Systems. And so why would you move from real estate into the automotive business? What's the background of the company? Did you wake up one day and say, I'm going to take on one of the biggest industries in the world?
I guess 1989, I founded a company called Top Producer Systems, which grew to become the world's #1 real estate software program. As far as products are concerned, automobiles are the largest industry. And we took a look at it and said, well, is this an industry that needs help? Is there somewhere where we could fit in? And, I'm not here to exaggerate the problems in the auto industry, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. The fact is that most people really don't enjoy the car buying and haggling process. Complaints about new car dealers in Canada between 2004 and 2008 are up 127%. There was a study done by Ipsos Reid which rated the trust quotient of all professions amongst Canadians.
I think pharmacists are #1 on that list. And where do car dealers?
Pharmacists and firemen are #1.
Yeah.
And car dealers rank the absolute lowest at 7%. Only 7% of Canadians trust a car salesman. So we took a look at that and said, here you've got an essential service. Everybody relies on transportation. It's really important. Dealers do and serve a very important function in our society, and yet the relationship between the public, the customers, and the dealerships themselves is extremely contentious, and trust levels are literally at the lowest possible levels. So we looked at that and said, well, why is that? And obviously the answer is because the process is conflicted. When you are buying a car in a car dealership and you're working with a salesman and he's running back and forth with his sales manager, and even when you get into the business office, all three of those people are not negotiating the price of the vehicle. They're negotiating the size of their paychecks.
We're back to the show. And speaking about websites, Randy Purcell is my guest. He's the CEO of Best Price Express. Now, Randy, are you ready to take some calls here and see what people have to say about buying a car online?
Sure.
All right. We'll say hello to Bobby. Go ahead, Bobby.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Bobby. I'm a salesman in a Mazda dealership.
Yep.
And I wanted to say what kind of a con job this guy is doing.
Well, how is it a con job?
Hey, let me ask you, now you have MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have nowadays on the internet, you can get carcots.com. So most customers know what we pay for the car and what the MSRP is. So when they come in, they do their own negotiation. So all this guy is doing is he's taking money out of salesmen's pockets. And the average salesman makes about $24,000 a year in Canada.
Okay, well let me see what Randy has to say. So this is obviously a salesperson who, with a business like Best Price Express, where you're guaranteeing the best price and doing the negotiating for them, they feel threatened that you're going to take business away from them. And how do you answer the question that somebody via the internet can maybe find the wholesale price of the car?
Well, very simply, it's about a couple of different things. Number one, we aggregate volume. So by buying lots of cars, we're able to develop relationships with dealers where they're willing naturally to sell 100 or 200 cars a year to us at a lower price than they would sell a single car. And that's the first. And
so you're talking volume, basically.
Yeah, we aggregate volume. The second key point is convenience. No matter how nicely somebody in the business wants to paint it, buying a car and negotiating the price of a vehicle for most people is a rather torturous experience. And all we do is simply smooth that out, take care of it in a professional and expedient way so that the consumer can come and pick their car up without having to endure an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of negotiating.
So what you mentioned to me in the break that there is a system set up with dealers to thwart you being able to cross shop. If you say, for example, with Mazda example, you're going from one dealer to the next and you want to buy a Mazda 3. So how do you know that they're not giving you the best price?
Well, it's a great question because we talk about it internally as the myth of comparison shopping for a car. Most people rightfully assume that you would shop for a car very much the way you shop for any other type of consumer product. For example, if you want to buy a big screen TV, you're going to go to possibly Future Shop, Best Buy, Sony store, compare the same Sony TV at all 3 stores and get the lowest price, and you're rewarded by doing smart shopping. When it comes to buying a car, though, and you got to remember, the automobile industry has been around and negotiating against consumers for, literally a century. And they've developed some very sophisticated systems to protect themselves against comparison shopping on a geographic basis. So first step, we take a look at how is comparison shopping thwarted. Well, number one, dealers do not advertise discounted prices on the internet. So automatically, the number one tool that has empowered consumers over the last decade to be more effective at shopping, the internet, now is only effective at researching the vehicle. It does you no good whatsoever in respect to getting a better deal. For that, you need to go down to the dealership. You can send emails to dealers. All you get is emails back telling you to come down to the dealership, and they'll be happy to negotiate with you. So that's the first step. Second step,